Picture this, a busy weekday morning. Elevators stall, lights go out on a floor, and the building dashboard flashes a network uplink alarm. The tech team traces it to one tiny SFP module. No spare on site, courier ETA 2 hours, tenants calling. That small missing piece just turned into a major headache.
Yeah, I've seen that exact scene. Tenants feel this immediately. From an operational standpoint, 2 hours is more than an inconvenience. It's lost productivity, angry escalations, and a dented reputation.
Right, and what we're talking about today is how a deliberately small spares program stops that cascade before it starts.
Glad to be here. I want to focus on practical choices, what actually sits on a shelf and how to keep it useful, not an attic full of obsolete parts.
Quick question up front. Why do these tiny parts cause such outsized problems? It seems almost absurd that a few dollars worth of hardware can halt operations.
They're often single points of failure. Hot swap PSUs, SFPs, specific battery modules. Small and cheap individually, but if there's no spare, the system waits. No graceful degradation. Tenants notice. Your help desk lights up. That mismatch between cost and operational impact is the root cause.
Makes sense. So stock the non-negotiables, but people hear stock and think stock everything. What's the practical balance here?
Hoarding is the easy trap. Overstock ties up capital and raises obsolescence risk. Worse, if nobody owns the kit, parts sit unused, batteries age, firmware drifts. The right approach is tiered. A tiny Tier 1 kit for immediate recovery, plus vendor and procurement fallbacks for less critical items.
Okay, help me visualize Tier 1. What absolutely has to be on that shelf?
Start with the items that stop tenant operations and are hard to work around. For example, 1 or 2 hot swap power supplies for critical UPSs, a couple of common SFPs that match your core switches, and the specific batteries used by life safety panels.
Right, so those are the non-negotiables.
Exactly. Add a small set of patch cables, a couple of fuses and surge modules, and a spare PoE injector or edge switch for quick edge recoveries. Those 7 or 8 items will fix the majority of incidents I've seen.
That sounds boring on paper, but in practice, those parts have pulled buildings back from the brink, right?
Absolutely. On one campus, a bad SFP during peak hours got swapped in 5 minutes from the cabinet. Network restored, elevators came back, and the cost was a few $100s versus thousands in lost tenant hours.
Let's break a longer list into a couple bites so listeners can actually take notes. Give me items 1 through 4, then I'll stop you.
Sure. 1. Hot swap PSUs for critical racks and UPS modules. 2. Common SFP modules and at least 1 compatible spare type. 3. Patch cables in common lengths and types. 4. Door controller relays and the small backup power modules used by your access control system.
Stop me if any of those surprise you.
They shouldn't. Those 4 alone cover a big chunk of operational pain. Okay, continuing. 5. Battery modules for emergency lighting and life safety panels. 6. Fuses and surge protectors sized to common panels. 7. Spare PoE injectors or a small edge switch for remote segments.
And the rest?
8. Common sensors or thermostats if they're single-sourced in the building. 9. Manufacturer-specific console cables and adapters. 10. Labeling supplies and basic diagnostics like a continuity tester and a small toolkit. Those last items keep you from soft failing during a response.
Nice. Breaking it up that way makes it easier to act on. Now, life cycle and obsolescence are real concerns. If hardware changes every few years, how do you avoid stocking the wrong thing?
Tie spare reviews to manufacturer life cycles and your capital plan. Review firmware-sensitive parts annually and rotate or replace batteries yearly. For mechanical or passive items, 18 to 24 months is reasonable. Also maintain a short list of pre-approved alternates so you're not blocked if an OEM part is discontinued.
Okay, 2 practical questions on governance. Where do we keep spares, and who owns them?
1 labeled cabinet, QR-tagged inventory, and 1 owner. facilities lead, or tech operations. Reconcile quarterly and require a replenishment request within 48 hours whenever a spare is used. Keep a simple log. What was pulled, why, and what replaced it. That accountability is the multiplier.
Got it. Now I need to push you on budgets. Some facilities tell me bluntly, we can't afford spares. Is that just an excuse or a real constraint?
It's a real constraint in many places, but it's solvable. You can start almost zero cost. Identify the top 5 single-point items and fund them from O&M rather than capital. Pair that with vendor agreements, loaners, rapid ship clauses, or distributor consignment to cover bulkier or expensive parts.
But what if the CFO still says no? I've seen pushback that starts and ends with we don't have the budget.
Then show them the math. A single avoided outage often pays for the kit. If they still won't budge, agree on a minimal O&M funded kit and a demo. Use the kit once, document the time saved, and present the ROI. Real outcomes win budgets more reliably than hypotheticals.
Fair. That little test and prove cycle is a good tactic. Switching gears, how do you keep parts usable? Batteries age, firmware drifts. Testing feels like busy work.
Make tests light and routine. Test batteries annually, do insertion checks for hot swappable items every 6 months where it's safe, and record firmware versions on inventory tags. If rotation isn't practical, mark expiration dates and budget replacements into the annual plan. Keep the effort under 30 minutes each cycle.
Before we close, one quick real example that sells this to a skeptical team. Give us a short story you can use in a meeting.
On a mid-size office campus, a core uplink SFP died at 9 a.m. The cabinet held 2 compatible SFPs. Swapped one in under 5 minutes, networks restored, tenants never escalated. The CFO signed off on a recurring modest budget after seeing the logged response and avoided tenant credits. That single quick swap paid for the kit many times over.
Great story. To finish up, if someone is starting tomorrow, what are 3 immediate next steps?
1. Identify the top 5 single-point items that would stop operations in your building. 2. Create one labeled cabinet and assign an owner with a quarterly reconciliation. 3. Negotiate at least one vendor rapid ship or loaner agreement for items you can't stock. Do those and you'll cut your biggest recovery times fast.
Excellent. We put Michael's checklist and a GDS spare parts template in the episode notes, so you can map your top 5 and assign an owner this week. Anything final, Michael?
One last point. Governance is the force multiplier. Even a modest kit fails without a named owner and a simple test schedule. Keep the process small enough to maintain. Then it remains effective.
Thanks, Michael, and thank you for listening. Download the GDS spare parts checklist in the show notes to start your kit. Subscribe for short operational guides, and reach out via the contact form on GDS Technologies' site if you want an editable template for your property. Built to last, wired with intention, secured for the real world.